Previously on Lost.
Greetings, Ron Smalek.
And Fellonius the Wizard. We are back in Lost, Season 6.
We're very close to the end, Hugo.
But everybody likes it. More or less. We had 2 episodes this time.
Yes.
Across the Sea, which was number 15.
Yeah.
And then 16 with a title that we didn't like.
What They Died For.
Yeah.
Which I think I have a good comment on that. But
well, I haven't, so you bring the bacon this time.
And before we get into our comments, I'll just give a quick shout out to Baker Bell. She left a comment reminding us that she did finish the whole series, so and she's just been waiting for us to get to the end. So we're going.
We are going there, but we are taking it easy because I haven't seen the series before, and if I start suddenly watch ahead, there's no way for me to keep track of which episode I saw what in. So that's one of them, and I want to have it as fresh as possible all the time, and that's the second reason.
Yeah, I would say this week we have a slight exception, which is Across the Sea, because that is almost completely standalone. It doesn't have anything occurring in the modern day.
Nope.
So that one you could have watched ahead, but I think this was a good way for us to divide it up over the whole series. So
absolutely. And before we start, I also want to say, but this is to the people that are watching probably a bit later on, I've seen an increased amount of views on my channel of Previous in Lost, and I am so glad that you are following me as well, and Ron. And that means that we are doubling up for our own pod. We like that.
Yeah, cool, good. I'm glad. I mean, we do honestly, like I do this. I think you're the same way. We do this for ourselves.
Yep.
But we do want to share it, and it's hard for a show that's 20 years old or 10 years old or whatever at this point.
Yeah.
I got confused with Pokemon all of a sudden, but
you doubled it up.
So yeah, well, good. Hello, new future listeners.
Yeah, we can say that because I thought that I should be around, well, I don't know, 12, 15 perhaps. But now I'm over 70 viewers on my first episodes. Thanks a lot, folks.
Are you seeing increase on your Minecraft or your vlog content?
Yeah, well, one of them, the Pokemon Go vlogs. I have over 280 views, and I'm not even talking about anything.
So that...
if you're following us so far, you know that I just talk, and that's all I'm good at. So suddenly they are watching those because, well, it's Pokemon Go.
Yeah, in fact, let's just do a quick shout out for your yapping series, which is back. And it's just you doing a causerie or a short thesis on a particular random topic. I enjoy listening quite a bit.
And that's one of the reasons I'm sitting here with Ron, I suspect.
So, well, let's get into Across the Sea.
Show. Even if I don't get paid for it, I have my own radio show because I was yapping. So I'm still doing that.
Yep. Do I sound okay on your end? It looked like I just had a little glitch in my internet. I heard what you were saying, but I don't think you could hear me, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, should we get into Across the Sea?
Should we? Yes. And as you said, this is a standalone. And to be totally honest, if this episode was the first episode of everything, now that would have been something. But bringing it now, I don't really see the reason. Did we really need this episode at all?
Well, I remember this, and in my memory, this came like near the beginning of the season.
Okay. You and your memory. You should not trust that memory, man.
Yeah, this is what I thought Ab Aeterno was.
Ah.
Yeah. Now, There's one thing in here that I think was important, very important to the story, but actually not important to it. It didn't change anything.
No.
When I started watching this, I wrote down 3 questions, and I
Okay.
think 2 of them were pretty much answered by the end, and one of them I would like to get your opinion on.
Okay.
So we don't have to answer it yet, but the first question was which of them was good, which of them was bad, Jacob or his brother. The second is why does the Man in Black want to kill people? Because in this episode you see him wanting to get with the people, but that was eventually answered. And then why does Jacob want to lure and test people? Like, why do they have these roles? And I think the last 2 questions were answered, but when we finish talking, I would like to hear your perspective.
Let's go into them but remember them because I'm not going
exactly. So, do we want to walk through everything, or do we just want to hit the highlights? What do you?
Well, in that case, that was it.
What?
Yeah, but totally. I say it again. It felt like a totally unnecessary episode. And when I was sitting there watching, I was so glad that I had one more episode to watch. So I was almost sitting there trying to X2 or whatever, double up the speed or whatever, just to get to the real show, because this felt like, okay, so they were born, they didn't have the real mother, and they didn't bother about that. I mean, there were a lot of stuff that we really didn't know. We did get some answer about taking care of the island. That meant that the woman who kills their mother, she had been a protector of the island.
Yes.
And there were the others already. That's okay. I can go with that. But she wasn't the one who found them. But when she found these innocent babies, she knew that she could make them become new guardians of the island. And to be totally honest, I think she meant them to both be it.
It seems like she contradicts. So I think there is definitely an unreliable narrator, and I'll talk about this again in the next episode. But she definitely tells them both what they need to hear. She definitely manipulates them, so you can really see they were taught to be the way they are.
Yeah,
and how, I mean, just in this one episode, how their environment shaped Jacob. Yep. Now, I'm not going to say that's how it shaped the Man in Black, because there's a very specific and subtle thing that we'll get to in a minute. But I love the fact that this started with a shipwreck, and we basically should realize that Jacob wasn't the first leader, Mother wasn't the first leader. This has been going on and on and on.
Yep, it's like Des and his button.
Sure, yeah. And I thought it was interesting. So this Mother character, she has some powers. So she can suddenly speak the language. Because at first I don't think they could really understand each other.
No, and it was very American when she spoke, so I was irritated by that. The other one could really speak Spanish, but...
one did. It did seem like one was Latin and one was something else, and then they were both speaking Latin. Now, I think so. I'll touch on some of the things that I think were interesting. And
you do that because I don't have any.
So when the I'm going to call him the boy in black, when he finds the game on the beach, and the mother says that Jacob doesn't know how to lie. He's not like you. You're special.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. That means everything Jacob said was true throughout the season. So if you kind of go back and look at things from that perspective, okay, that's interesting. She is the one who made it so they can't hurt each other.
Yes.
That is interesting. And I couldn't tell if that was just a mind game or it was true.
It was true later on. We are getting the proof of it, but that's not the point. the way why she did it is because she are going to be certain that both of them are going to stay put. Both of them are going to be a candidate, if we could use that word.
Yeah.
But as we also know, because these guys are twins, they are very much examples out throughout the history about one being more good natured and the other one being a bit more like good, we can call it bad natured. And that doesn't mean that they are not human in any form. I mean, the way in my world you could actually call Jacob stupid. And you can call the boy in black, you can call him an egoist, a selfish person.
Oh, egoist.
That's what you can do. But both of them are actually selfish.
It's interesting. So I'll kind of jump here. 2 times in this episode, we see them fight. But actually, we just see Jacob attacking the black one. The man in black never throws a single punch.
Nope.
Never attacks his brother.
Nope.
And I almost feel like that boy, the boy in black, was good. Yes, he was curious. He wanted to go find out where he came from, and he was rebelling against this lady who lied to him and who killed his real mom. Like, I can't really find anything in there to blame him for.
No, as we said, he's just as human as you and me.
Yeah, and then he went and lived with these, I'm going to call them Romans because according to the wiki, they used that dagger is a Roman legionnaires dagger.
Okay.
They never say that these are Romans, but that seems to be what people think they are. So he lives with them, and he basically, he figures out that they're not good either, and he's so frustrated by the fact that they're not good, but he still wants to leave and try to go.
Yeah, because he now knows that there are something beyond across the sea.
Yeah.
And that is the reason for all of this episode. We are now knowing why he wants to go across the sea, because his dead mother told him that there are something there. And as you said, he's curious.
And when you say he, do you mean the boy or do you mean...
The boy in black.
Okay.
Why I want to call him Sam, I don't really know.
Because he has a trap door on his tunic?
Yeah, might be something like that. I'm not totally sure. I have the name Sam on this guy all the time, and I can't really get it out of my head because there's no name on it. Not yet.
So, I'm going to skip the parts about the golden tunnel and the light for a minute and just focus on these two characters, right? So, he sees ghosts, but Jacob does not.
Nope.
Which is interesting. And he tells Jacob, one day you can make up your own game and everyone will have to follow your rules.
Yep.
So that sort of, to me, ties into the rules of the island and candidates and crossing people's names out.
Yep.
Summoning.
It is, sort of. But it's not really a game. He's using his knowledge in order to make it so.
Yep. And it seems like all the way up to the point where Mother gives Jacob the drink, and she casts she says some magic words, and she makes him drink. She says, now you and I are the same.
Yeah.
All the way up to this point, I think neither of the boys are bad.
No, exactly.
And this particular scene right here where he drinks the water. I think this is why they put this one next to the episode where Jack drinks in What They Died For.
Yep.
So that, because this could be confusing, so they wanted them to be close together, maybe.
Okay, yes. I
Anyway.
can buy that. And the reason it is Jacob and not the boy in black, is because he has moved away. He's trying to get some other place and stuff. Yeah. Otherwise, it could have just as easily have been the other guy, the no-name guy. Absolutely.
I think the no-name guy is honestly more pure and human. And so this is why I was also asking myself, well, why does this kid want to get off the island? And then why does he want to kill everyone in the world? He's the one who wants to be with the humans. It seems Jacob would be the one who wants humans to stay away. So,
Yes.
but this is where it all comes together for me, is when Jacob knocks him out and tosses him in the water.
Yeah.
He actually, when he goes into that that tunnel of light, he actually dies. Like, that boy is done in the end. The black smoke that comes out, and the person that's Locke, the person that was Christian, the black smoke, that is not Jacob's brother and has never been Jacob's brother. That is pure evil.
Yeah.
Protector / evil. That is not the Man in Black. So that's why that thing does want to go around and kill and be evil, but that's not what Jacob's brother. And like, this whole time, like, he took the form of Jacob's brother because Jacob's brother was dead. Just like he could take Locke and Christian.
Yes.
But the thing that we've been calling Locke and calling the Man in Black was never the actual kid. It's something that was just using his form.
Yeah.
And to me, that, like, a little light bulb went on, because I always thought it was the Man in Black. I forgot that the Man in Black actually died.
Yeah.
I always thought it was him, and I couldn't figure out, why did he turn bad? Like, the stuff that's happening here isn't enough for him to turn against his brother, because it's not his brother.
It's not. It is the as we say it before, they opened the Pandora's box.
Yes. And Jacob, we'll see in the next episode, says, I made a mistake, I created it, etc., etc. So back to my questions. Why did the Man in Black want to kill the people? It's just because it's evil. And why does Jacob want to lure and test? I mean, we kind of knew that. It's the candidates thing. But now we really see, why it's all happening. And I think now we see why he has the powers that he has. But the smoke thing doesn't have those powers.
No.
So,
and the reason also that the smoke monster is telling everyone that he wants to leave the island, it's because the first person he took his body from had those thoughts. So somewhere, I just say, the smoke monster just takes whatever thing that goes with the body, and in that body he found the thoughts about leaving the island, and he thought, well, that sounds nice, I can do that. But he couldn't, because there were a limitation.
And I think he wants to just completely consume the world, right? Like spread and all that good stuff.
And that also goes well with what we've seen from the smoke monster so far. It hasn't done anything good. Mm-hmm. I mean, it has always shown itself and tried to either scare people or kill them.
Yeah. Yep.
And the only thing that he left alone was actually Kimi and his guys. Those 4 men he had. They were hurt, yes, but they weren't killed.
Right. Well, and he's left Ben alive all this time. And, I mean, he will manipulate you till he doesn't need you anymore.
Yes. And the reason I think he left some of them alone is because he felt that there was just as much evil in those guys as it was in himself. So why kill an allied person?
Yeah, well, there's some vanity in there that he doesn't think much of them, so he's careless about how he treats them. Like, I mean, so this whole season, I've been thinking that this is these 2 brothers against each other, but it's really not.
No.
And I think that confused me the first time I saw this.
I can see that. I can absolutely see that.
Yeah. So I think from the boys' perspective, do you think either of them was bad?
No.
Or I think the mother was crazy.
Yeah, more or less.
And
if you mean the mother, the one that's left behind,
Yeah.
But he also had it coming that she had to somehow get someone to get the candidate to take over from her. Mm-hmm. I mean, she can't. Well, of course, she can live forever, but she doesn't really know that. And besides, she also needed the company.
Yeah, I wonder how much, because I mean, if you think about it, okay, there's a protector on the island. You know,
Yep.
humans are obviously becoming more technological, but at this point they were still pretty primitive. Like,
Yeah.
if the island can keep you alive forever, why does the protector ever need to change hands? And
Exactly.
it's got to be social
That's yeah.
understanding.
Yeah, it might be actually be that.
You know,
Yeah.
like who can? Because like if you're stranded on an island by yourself and you don't interact with people for hundreds of years, you probably would go a little stir crazy.
That probably would just take me about a fortnight or so. I would probably say. And if I'm also seeing that, well, about 2,000 years from now, you will still be living on this island
Yeah.
and you won't have changed a bit, so you don't need any mirrors and so on and so forth. Now, the problem is that that island has never been left alone. There has been other shipwrecks and there will be more shipwrecks to come. And as the mother says, they come and they destroy everything.
Yeah, I think we're probably about time in our life where they're ready to do a sequel to this, which is set in the sci-fi future and a
Yeah.
spaceship crashes on the island.
Yeah, might even be. Yeah, I'm not saying against you. I'm not, no, I'm speaking total truth.
And there was another line in here. I think the mother said it to the boys, and then the man in black says it to Jacob about, you know, they come,
Yeah.
you know, they destroy. Now, one thing that we didn't see, which I'm curious how it happened and is not explained in the series, is the boy in black made the donkey wheel.
Yeah.
But it wasn't installed. He said he knows how to make this machinery of light and water, but
Yes.
he didn't actually do it. It got destroyed. But
Yes.
somehow it does get created later.
Yeah.
So it makes me think that sometime before Dharma, maybe before the 50s, you know, Jacob lured some candidates and this guy corrupted them and he taught them how to make it, and then
Well, you could actually have another twist as well. Why not if Jacob perhaps made it?
I don't. I mean,
Think about it. If you are going to turn the wheel, you are going to leave this island forever. You're not going to get back again. He might be having those powers that if one finds this one, that's your way off the island. That's cool. But you're not going to get back again because the island is going to move.
Yeah, yeah. It could
That
be.
actually might be Jacob's idea.
Yeah, it's just I thought it was interesting that they showed us the wheel, but they didn't show us how it got finished. But it kind of tells us why is there a wheel. You know, it kind of answers a lot of questions I had.
But
So-
I'm no technician. But is that really all you need? A half a wheel?
Well, when you have a glowing river of light, golden tunnel,
I haven't had any of those in quite some time.
then all bets are off as to how you use water to manipulate.
Okay. Okay. So you don't need to be a NASA engineer. Okay.
This is just physics we don't understand yet. That's all.
You say it's so simple. Thank you very much, mate.
Yeah. So, you know, the Golden Tunnel, this is actually the last location that needs to be shown.
Yes, we have been talking about that, you and I, back and forth. And this is the last one, yeah.
And it seems like in the show, it's very close to where Jack woke up in the bamboo, but you can't really get there unless you
Know that it exists.
Yeah, and you have the water. I think you have to drink the water.
Yeah, but
Because
so it was water in that bottle, you mean? That Jacob. I thought that was wine.
I don't know if
It was close to the same water anyway. Yeah.
yeah. So overall, I mean, I like this episode because it does give us the island lore. It like really clarifies what is the island, why are these candidates here. Like I liked it.
But I still go with no, I don't need it.
You see who is Adam and Eve? It's actually Jacob's brother and
Yes.
mother. I thought that was good.
And they also answered that question inside the episode. That's true.
Yeah.
And we also have the black and white pieces that we know that they found. I haven't been talked about them since we found them in season 1, but still.
Yep. We see Jacob still weaving tapestries like that. So I don't know. I really liked it. I really liked the episode. I know it's sort of a tangent, but I think it does fill in some gaps that we needed, or I needed anyway.
Yeah, and okay, I can go with one thing because this is a very special episode. If you blend this lore stuff in with happenings on the island of 2007 or the flash forwards or flash sideways, if you blend them as we have blended all the others, it will not be understandable as a whole. So you need actually to have this as one single episode. But I still think it should have been some sort of extra super bonus after another one or anything. But because now people, on the other hand, people in this case is people that has been seeing 5.5 seasons, they will probably go with anything. You need to wait 2 weeks in order to have, as I say it, proper action.
That's true. That's very true.
We didn't because we could see them in a row.
It's interesting also that as far as we know at this point, this episode is not giving us Chekhov's gun. It's not giving us the Ex Machina. Like, it's not saying, here's the answer, and our characters just haven't figured it out yet. Which is what a lot of storytelling does. Right before the end, they say, here's the answer, and then the characters pull out the answer and use it, right? This one is just pure background. It doesn't give any tool to Jack and his crew that they can use against this creature. It basically just explains how you become a candidate, really.
Yeah.
So
that's why the next episode was twice as good, perhaps because we have this first episode. I don't know. But there are some obvious stuff that needed to be explained, as you said. In the next episode, they are doing stuff, and because of after over the sea, on the other side of the sea, across the sea, we now don't need a handwritten description of why he's taking them to the water and why he's having his last fire and all that stuff, because we really don't need that.
I think it makes Jacob's actions believable to me because it's not just out of nowhere. There's actually a precedent for, like, when I read about like Game of Thrones or Harry Dresden, like I like when a magic system has rules and makes sense, and up till now the magic stuff really hasn't made a lot of sense.
No, he tries to avoid that.
So this actually gave it some background.
Yeah.
But speaking of what they died for, should we move on to it?
Yep, why not? Why not?
So right off the bat, you said that you weren't sure about the title.
After I've seen the episode, I wasn't really enjoying the title anymore, because I would really have to have had some real reason to some of the deaths.
I think that the title is explained in a very early conversation between I think Jack and Kate, and what it means is, like, up until now, Jack and these other people, they've been not sure what their purpose is. They're kind of doing things somewhat randomly. But what Jin and Sun specifically, their death specifically, finally convinced Jack that he is here to kill the smoke monster.
Yeah.
And that's what Sun and Jin died for. They died in order to convince Jack and give him his final direction. I think that's what this means.
Okay.
Their sacrifice finally put him on the track.
Yeah. Why did Charles die?
Well, that's that has nothing to do with the title.
Okay, then why did Charlie die?
He, Charlie. No, this is the title. I think is purely about why did Sun and Jin die.
Okay.
They died to finally convince Jack of what he's there for. He needs
now, that is why I don't like when you use a pronoun without real reason. You should put some detail into it.
Yeah.
Pronouns is never detailed. We know that, we who have been teachers.
Yeah. And this is my interpretation. I don't know if this is what.
I can buy it. I can absolutely buy it.
Yeah.
We should probably split this episode again.
Yeah.
Good and bad timelines.
Yeah, we still don't really see them connecting.
Well, they're coming to the same concert, all of them, aren't they?
we know. So let's talk about the Flash sideways, the good timeline, as you call it, right? We know that people in this timeline. We've heard two phrases, right?
Yeah.
Something about like waking up, or that's not the phrase, but
nope.
And now we hear that Des was trying to get Locke to let go.
Yep.
We hear it's time to leave. Like, we're hearing phrases that these people in the Flash sideways should become aware of the original timeline.
More or less.
But we still don't know what they're going to do with that information or why it's important. And the people in the island timeline have no clue this other thing's going on.
No. And they don't need it either, because they are now fewer and fewer, first of all.
Yeah. So it's still two separate things, and now we only have one episode left to tie them together. So
yeah.
I like that the Flash sideways starts with Jack again opening his eye.
Yeah.
His neck's bleeding.
Yep.
So that's sort of.
Well, and that was really much. That means that the wall between these two timelines is so thin that he's actually having his wound back.
Yep. We get some cool manipulation by Desmond, and Ben gets awakened.
Yep. And the most fun part of that is that he gets so beaten up that he looks like himself in the other timeline.
Yeah.
A yellow eye and all that. It was like, we don't need to do any makeup. You can be fine with that. We'll take you that to the next scene.
Yeah.
It was so cool to see him being the exact same Ben in the face in both timelines at the same time. And I was going, yes, that was the thinnest part so far.
Now, do you like? I like the interaction with Ben and Alex. Do you like the potential of Ben and Danielle?
It works for me, but I don't see the reason at this point. She looks gorgeous, by the way, Danielle. I mean, she doesn't look like that mad French woman on the island. No. She's looking really good.
She reminds me of. Did you ever see Babylon 5?
Nope.
That actress plays an alien who becomes human. I guess I just spoiled the whole show, but
story, right?
But that she reminded me of her character in that a whole lot more than she ever has. But,
okay.
I thought she still gives me a little creepy feeling, though, that she's coming on a little strong to him.
Yeah, but she's been away from guys, and why not? And her daughter has talking so good about Ben, so why not?
So
I see it totally okay, but why now? I mean,
yes.
The guy, the character Ben is having a very splendid life at this point, but he's not even involved with the island as such.
No, I thought you were going is, why is this the first time a parent is meeting the teacher? Didn't she go to the parent-teacher meetings? Didn't she go to the, meet the teacher at the beginning of school? Don't you always do that?
No, not always. And it's not always the teacher that you like, in this case, the history teacher, that is your real teacher that the parents are going to watch.
Yeah, I guess. I guess I feel like... I don't know. Maybe because this is high school, it's different. But
perhaps it is.
I know all of my son's teachers. I wouldn't be meeting them the first time, especially if they helped out so much and she She goes to his house for study group. I mean,
I agree with you. I also have a son that was, well, I knew the teachers because I worked with them before he started to go to that school. But I totally agree with you. I wouldn't just avoid teachers, especially when they are doing a very good work. I thought I knew everyone except for the physics. Yeah.
so yeah, they're all going to a concert, as you said.
Yep.
I couldn't think of how they were going to get together, but it made complete sense that Saeed and Kate and Sawyer and Miles are all in the same police station. Desmond goes
Yep.
there. I thought the Ana Lucia part was funny.
That was really good. That was really good. It was just her character.
Yeah.
It wasn't her character on the island, but yes. And when we saw her in Australia before that, yeah, she was part not totally honest. And now suddenly she pops up. And in this timeline, she's nowhere near the word honest.
Yeah. And I was really happy that they had their little exchange at the dock, and in the background you could see a freighter. Now, I don't know if that counts towards my old theory about two freighters simultaneous, but maybe our characters are going to get on a freighter together and go to the island. So I still have hope.
Nice not knowing you.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
And I like.
We'll see. There's still time to go on the boat.
Yep. So, anything else on the Flash Sideways? Is there anyone in the Sideways that we haven't seen yet?
Yeah, that was something that I was also thinking about. Jin and Sun are still with us somehow. Not totally sure how.
Well, we've seen him though. Well, Sun is awake, but Jin isn't.
Yes. Well, we'll get back to them later on, I suspect.
So I think Walt and Vincent are the only characters. Oh, no, we haven't seen Michael.
No.
And I don't think we. Well, I'm not sure if we will or not, but my gut says we won't because he's one of those people that was stuck on the island.
Yeah.
It is kind of, again, I know I've gone back to this a couple times, but when we saw the island sunk in that first episode, we definitely saw the statue on the foot underwater. So that means I think that means anyway, that Jacob and that boy still existed.
Yeah.
But they sunk with the island.
So you mean that the smoke monster doesn't exist in the good timeline?
I think he still does. I mean, I still think that they changed the time from the 50s on, but not the 70s on.
Yeah, but where is the evil then?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, you're from states. You can always point at Russia and say, there it is. But I can't. If you are going to sink down the island where the smoke monster lives, and he's been living even in the other timeline, he just has to. You need to have him somewhere, or did you just drown evil?
You know,
this is totally crazy.
It's kind of interesting because in Across the Sea, Mother said that if the light goes out here, it goes out everywhere.
Yeah.
So that means that even though they sunk... No, I think the light did go out, right?
Okay, so it's evil all over the place, and I call it the good timeline. Well, that's nice.
I think the nuke took out the light, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
Anyway, we'll see. Maybe we'll find out next episode. But
oh dear.
So let's see what happens on the island. Anything interesting?
Jack sews up Kate. We need to kill Locke. Yeah. Where is Des? They haven't found Desmond yet. That's cool.
Nope.
And then Ben and company meets Charles and company, and that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I like. As soon as Widmore and Zoe were gonna hide in the place where the smoke monster summoned from, I was like, that's not a good place to hide. Like,
no.
He knows about that place. It's not secret from there.
Miles, but Ben had an idea, right?
Yeah. Ben, I don't know what happened to Ben. Because Ben, I thought, had redeemed himself and was following Locke and was a good guy.
Yep, but Ilana died. He sees people die left, right, and center. People are changing lanes. I mean, it's only him and who else?
Well, Miles runs off into the jungle, so we haven't seen the last of him. Richard, it looked like Richard got thrown off into the jungle.
Yes, but can you kill Richard?
I don't think the smoke monster can, right?
Well, I think he can, because I put down that Richard might be dead.
He might be, but we didn't completely see it. I just saw him get thrown off, but he's out of the picture for this episode anyway.
Absolutely. And that's okay, because he would just have his saying about grenades and stuff. I don't really bother with him.
Yeah, now, and I thought that Ben came to terms with Alex's death and all of that stuff.
Yeah, that was a cool Miles moment.
But it seems like at this point, so Locke asks Ben to kill people.
Yeah.
And he says that Ben can have the island after Locke leaves. Now, Ben...
He's changing, actually, that in the end.
I think Ben is... So I'm curious why Ben is going along with killing these people. But I don't think Ben cares about having the island anymore. I don't think he's fooled by Locke.
No, but he does kill Charles, but that because of other stuff, right?
Well, he says he did it because he doesn't get to save his daughter. He's robbing Widmore of that, which that's
an old promise.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Ben was a good guy now, but I guess he's just corrupted. I guess he's part of...
Anything I've told you before, you should never trust Ben or the man in black nowadays called the smoke monster guy.
Yeah.
Never.
Now, we also have Jacob having a little powwow with Jack, Kate, Sawyer, and Hurley.
After trying to make them go to... No, it was Hurley who got them together. And actually, I thought Hurley was going to see Michael again. And I thought Hurley also thought that. It felt like, oh, is it you, Mike? No, it wasn't. It was Jacob.
Yeah.
And there is a moment there that I was going, wait a minute. When that fire burns out, but that had to do with the ashes of Jacob.
Yeah, once the ashes are completely gone from the fire, then he can't show up as a ghost anymore.
I couldn't really get this. So that we started with Ilana getting some ashes, right?
Yeah, he was in the fire.
Yeah.
And she took the ashes out before the fire could completely consume them, I guess.
But she just take Jacob ashes, or did she find some wood or whatever in there? Because in a fire you can have a lot of stuff.
It's magic, man.
Okay,
we don't understand
it. We don't understand it. That's why we don't discuss it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Ilana took it, and then Hurley, of some reason, picked them up when she died.
Yeah.
That was something that I totally missed.
I don't think we saw it. I think...
And it's not supposedly either, because if we had seen him taking it, we would have had yet another question that they didn't want us to have.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? He did. Now I just remembered. He found that little drawstring bag, and he looked in it, and then he looked up.
I thought that was the diamonds.
Yes,
man.
Yes.
That's totally true.
I thought the exact same thing, and then I just realized Miles has the diamonds.
Yes. Miles has the diamonds, not Ilana. Oh, yes. So he took it. Yes, we saw that. Good.
Yeah. I like when they tell you a story indirectly. That's good.
And then it is another fun part, because young Jacob, who has been the guy that has been irritating Locke as long as we have seen him this season, the young Jacob comes and claims the bag with the ashes.
Yep.
That was cool. I mean, why not Jacob himself? I thought that was because Hurley's totally thrown off. He doesn't understand, and then he hunts young Jacob and meets up with the real one.
I think, yeah, I think that's another reason for Across the Sea is I think they just didn't want us to see Jacob again after he died. It would be too confusing. So
Yeah,
seeing him as a kid, it's more, the ghost is more
yeah,
understandable
and
for us.
yeah.
But
Well, it works. It works.
he says one thing that I thought was interesting, and this is where I get back to my unreliable narrator. He said that Kate's name was crossed out on the wall because she became a mother, but she
Yes.
can still be the candidate. That had nothing to do, or that was
Nope.
just a bunch of silly, that was like a game,
Yeah.
which that I thought that was interesting. So now you think like, okay, well, what else was a quote unquote rule, but at the end of the day doesn't
Yes.
really matter.
Exactly. We don't know, right?
So
The fire wasn't that big when he said that when this fire burns out, I will no longer exist. So I was thinking, okay, 10 minutes max.
yeah.
And it took yet another half an hour.
Well, he said, "I'll tell you everything from beginning to
Yes,
end,"
and he
and
didn't actually. We didn't see him, hear him say anything
yeah,
worth mentioning at all. But the only question Jack wanted: why did they have to die? He wanted to get the reason what they died for. And that was all he got.
yeah. Well, I love whenever he steps up and Jack says, "I'll do it," and
Yep.
then Sawyer's, then they go to the water, and Sawyer's like, "I thought that guy had a god complex before." That was funny.
I must say that I was a bit worried about Jack being Jacob or the Jacob person or whatever, the guardian. I thought that he would have some sort of holy, I don't know, halo or something. I'm not totally sure. But he didn't even have some clear eyes or anything, not a smile on his face. Because one thing that I've been discussing and I don't like is that Jacob also has this smirk smile all the time. I
Yeah.
know everything, you don't know anything, I win. I don't like that. And I haven't liked it that he's blonde. There's some stuff I don't like with that actor.
Yeah.
I thought that Jacob, when he suddenly makes Jack Jacob, I thought that Jack would have that smirk smile. But I didn't see him even raise an eyebrow or anything. He was just, I'm Jacob. We are now the same.
Yeah, not yet. I don't think we see him too long
No.
before the end of. We don't see what he does next.
Nope.
So
No.
I do. It is interesting that the one question Jack asked was, "How long do I have this job?" And Jacob says, "As long as you can,"
Yeah.
which almost felt like that was a not a strong thing to say, almost like a doubtful thing to say
Yeah.
after you just volunteered to be the guy.
Yeah.
And like her, obviously Sawyer and Kate didn't stand up, and Hurley said, "I'm glad it's not me."
Exactly. He wasn't in for it.
So it's, well, we'll see, but
But it was the same thing the mother also said. How long do I need to do this? Jacob asked her, and she said exactly the same thing. As long as you can.
okay. I
And
forgot
that's
that.
one of the reasons, if we're going to connect some dots here, why is suddenly Jacob in the need of candidates? Because he sees that the loophole that wasn't there when they started out, back in the deaths of the mother, now suddenly there are several time loopholes all over the place. And with the time traveling as well, there must be even more loopholes. And every character, or should we say candidate, has become a potential loophole as one for the smoke monster. And I think he is actually doing the game with the smoke monster.
How did Mother die? Did she die?
With a knife through her heart.
Oh yeah. That's right. Man in Black killed her.
Yeah. He had to do that because she had killed all the others.
That's right. Okay.
And how the heck did she do that? I do not know. She didn't have any weapons. They had.
Well,
Well, as you said, it's magic. Shut up and listen.
I mean, it kind of makes me wonder, did Jacob help her do that, or did she do it on her own?
No, Jacob. No, Jacob.
I don't think so either, but...
If you ask him, he will not lie, and he will say, I didn't do it.
Now, the other thing we see at the end is Desmond is gone. He was a fail-safe or a last resort.
Yep.
And Locke now says he wants to destroy the island, which basically, if the island is the cork, he destroys the cork and all the evil can come out.
Yes. Ben,
yeah.
As you said, if Ben is going to have the island, he cannot destroy it. But as you also say, Ben doesn't seem to be interested in the island anymore. On the other hand, I think Ben is also turned dark in this case.
Do you think so, or do you think he's just tricking the Man in Black?
Why? Why should he?
I don't know. I hope
he has no means to killing Locke.
Well, when he says, aren't there more people to kill? Do you think... I felt like he was just getting the Man in Black close, so I thought Ben was going to try to kill him. I was totally surprised whenever he stabbed
it's
shot Widmore. So, and I guess the other thing is, okay, let's say that Jack does defeat the smoke monster or bottles it up or something like that.
Yeah.
Now,
that would be cool. In one of those big jugs.
Yeah. Now Widmore's gone. You know, there's not really anyone left that's a threat to the island. So I would think that...
Oh, Ben. Ben.
You think he'll become the next...
ruler of the island? Yes, he will be the others. He will be alone, of course, but he will be the others.
Well, you know what? We might find out in the next episode.
Yeah.
I'm really, really sad to say that we only have one more left.
Yep.
And then we have the bonus episode called The New Man in Charge, which...
Yes, you told me something about that. Tell our listeners why we are using that one as well.
Well, it was released after the series. So the next and final episode, The End, it's the long two-parter.
Yep.
We're going to cover that. And we're also going to watch a bonus episode called The New Man in Charge.
Yes.
And the reason... This I feel like this should have been part of the show, but... it was an extra bonus feature used to help sell the DVDs that came out after the show was over. And in fact, I think a year later, there was a Comic-Con convention, and it was shown at Comic-Con and then used to sell the DVDs.
Okay.
So it answers a few more questions. Nothing that really matters, but it was... I think it's part of the show. It's canon. Just like those watch episodes that we saw.
Yeah, why not?
So we'll cover those two together.
Now, that is what we are going to do next. Now, you had 3 questions. Let me answer them.
Yeah.
Where are they?
So Jacob is Jacob good or bad?
He's human. He's both.
I don't think he did. I can't think of anything that he did bad or that he wasn't taught. I don't think he did things for a selfish reason except creating the smoke monster.
But he didn't even do anything else either. And in the end, he throws his brother into the light. And that is not a good thing to do.
Well, yeah, but he knew that would be worse than death.
Yes. But if you are a really good person, you don't do that. You don't even threaten people with worse than death.
That was his one mistake. Besides, again.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah.
Being the person who would fight his brother when his brother wouldn't fight him. I think the other boy. Well, do you think the other boy was good or bad?
He was more human than Jacob.
Yeah. Well,
that's the best thing I can do. If we can't call Jacob human, and that means that he's both good and bad, I would say that goes even more for the black boy, the dark-haired boy, actually, because he was more human. He had curiosity in him. He had trying to do stuff. I mean, he dig out that well by hand, I suspect.
Yeah.
So there is, and he was creating this wheel and all that stuff. He was really having a goal set for him. Jacob doesn't have any goals set for him, as he knows. He just listens to what he's ordered to do.
Yeah,
And that is why I call him stupid beforehand.
He doesn't even become the protector until near the end of that story.
Exactly.
So yeah.
And I suspect that the mother knew that she had to stop the others and her other son, the dark son, in order to keep the island safe. And she also must have known that if she does that, her dark son will turn totally against her and probably kill her. There might be something about looking into the future here.
Yeah, and that's how Jacob. So he was a candidate, and the candidate is able to kill the protector.
Yeah.
Just like, well,
well,
Locke was a candidate. Locke was able. So that's the loophole.
Yep.
But I don't think she knew that he was going to turn into the smoke monster. At that point, there was no smoke monster.
Nope.
So I don't want to go through all of our old predictions, but now you've seen everything. So do you have any guesses or thing you want to see in the final episode? Like,
well, we need a shootout at the OK Corral. We need that. That is between two antagonists, and I'm not totally sure who they're going to be. I suspect that the smoke monster is on one side, but how many are on the other side? And is Desmond really dead? I want to see more of that part before I believe that. Is Richard dead? I think he has a couple of things up his sleeve, but that's all the antagonists on the island. And then the island itself, if that disappears or becomes destroyed, it feels like we have seen this series totally for nothing. I suspect it will continue to be as such, but perhaps it is down below. Perhaps it's sunk. You don't know that, and we'll see. I don't really want to guess too much.
Yeah, I definitely want to see, along the lines of what you said, the people on the island and the people in the Flash sideways. I think at this point, all of my wondering if we were going to see Aaron and the kids do something, Gion, I hope they don't add that in, because they just need to close up some storylines in the last one, not add more. I don't think we're going to see Alana's backstory.
Nope, we don't need it no more. But you must think one thing. Desmond is the active part in this Flash Sideways, right? He is the one trying to get everyone to the concert. He's trying to do stuff.
Yeah,
And on the other hand, on the island, he was the safe key again, according to Charles Widmore. And that's why I thought, my guess is that Desmond is going to do two things at the same time, and the wall between the two timelines is going to be collapsed or whatever, and that will somehow hurt or make the smoke monster not, well, perhaps vulnerable or whatever. We'll see.
Yeah,
it has to end. It has to end that way. What I don't want to see more of is Kate. What I don't want to see more of is Juliet, and I do not want to see more of Charlie.
Well, we have not seen Juliet in the Flash Sideways.
No, she hasn't been in this season at all.
And we know Kate got a special dress, so we know we're going to see her.
Yep.
At the concert, but okay. Yep. Well, we'll leave it. We'll leave it there, and I hope that you like what happens, and I hope you like how they wrap it all up. Because those are
these parts. You know this part better than the rest, because your memory is not much to trust.
I know what's going on. I do not remember what Desmond does. I do not remember how they combine the two. I do remember what Locke does next, what Jack does next. I don't remember what I just don't remember.
Well,
I don't remember the concert at all. I remember something else though, but anyway.
Well, we'll see.
So,
see you back then.
Yep, we'll do one more, and then we'll do a recap episode, and then we'll do something else special.
Yes, a bit of a special. Thanks for listening.
Bye.